What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another reaction video. We got the most controversial player in the 2025 NFL draft. Let's check this out. That boy Shedeur.
Prospect in the 2025
Let me bust out my
NFL
AP. Perfect time, man.
He's
Real
the son
shit.
of a Hall of Famer, just benefited from playing with a
I heard he balled out at his pro day today too.
Wherever he goes. But does all of that mean that he's worthy of a first-round pick? Well, maybe not. But no matter where he gets drafted,
there's a strong chance he might drop out of the top 5 though.
A lot of fun to watch in the NFL. Shedeur Sanders is obviously the son of Deion Sanders, who not only is a Hall of Fame cornerback, two-time Super Bowl champ, former Deion Sanders, who not only is a Hall of Fame.
Yo. Nigga. Whoever this nigga barber should be arrested, gang. What the fuck is this nut ass cut?
Cornerback, two-time Super Bowl champ, former MLB player who played in a World Series, but he's also coached Shedeur and his brother Shiloh at multiple levels. Deion was the offensive coordinator at Trinity Christian School in Cedar Hill, Texas, where Shedeur was the starting quarterback. As a senior, Shedeur passed for 3,702 yards and 42 touchdowns. He was rated a 3-star recruit and did initially commit to play at Florida Atlantic. But of course, he didn't end up going to FAU. He flipped to Jackson State, an HBCU in the SWAC at the FCS level, after his dad was named the head coach. So kind of hard to blame him there. Shedeur Sanders was the starting quarterback at Jackson State as a freshman in the fall 2021 season. It was a bit weird because they did end up playing a spring 2021 season because it got delayed from the fall because of COVID, but Shedeur wasn't eligible to play. Jackson State ultimately went 4-3 in the abbreviated season. But once Shedeur was able to play, he was ready to go. He ended up passing for 3,231 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. Shedeur was the SWAC Freshman of the Year, second team All-SWAC, and won the Jerry Rice Award as the most outstanding freshman in the FCS, making him the first player to ever win it at an HBCU. Then as a sophomore, he threw for 3,732 yards and 40 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. He was the SWAC Offensive Player of the Year and won the Deacon Jones Trophy as the top HBCU player in the country. It was a really good 2-year stretch for Jackson State. They went 11-2 in 2021 and finished ranked number 19 in the FCS Coaches Poll. Then in 2022, they finished ranked number 11 in the FCS Coaches Poll. Now, despite all of the success, Jackson State did still lose in the Celebration Bowl both seasons. Regardless, it was an impressive job by Deion Sanders, but he was ready for a new challenge. He ended up getting hired as the new head coach at Colorado, a huge jump from the SWAC to the Pac-12 and then the Big 12 after just 1 season. And well, with the jump, Deion brought his guys with him to Boulder, and that included Shedeur and Shiloh and even Travis Hunter, who was the number 1 player in the entire class and shocked the nation when he decided to play for Deion instead of going to FSU. And of course, that worked out very well for him. He just won the Heisman Trophy and is about to go very high at the 2025 NFL Draft. The move to Colorado ended up being a good one, not just for him, but also for Shedeur Sanders, who didn't take a step back despite playing against much tougher talent. All of a sudden, Colorado was one of the most exciting programs to watch in the country, and Shedeur was a big part of it. It didn't take long for everyone to start.
Y'all think Shedeur gonna be ready to start day one?
Game, he immediately put on a show, passing for a school record 510 yards.
I don't know, bro. Like,
I
feel like if he does get drafted, like I don't think he's getting drafted to the Browns or the Giants, bro. I think there's realistically a chance that he might drop out of the top 5, and I could definitely see the Saints taking him. I ain't gonna lie, but I don't think he's gonna start day 1. I don't think he's gonna start day 1.
TCU. Colorado,
unless he beat out Derek Carr for the
entire country
job.
To talk about. They beat Nebraska the next week as Shedeur threw for 2 touchdowns and rushed for 1, and they then beat Colorado State, where he had 4 touchdowns and a pick. It really was an insane start that was completely unexpected for Colorado, but they did eventually have to come back to earth, and that's exactly what happened against Oregon. Oregon was just a tank and number 10 in the country at the time. It was a big prove-it game, and honestly, it wasn't very pretty.
Yeah, they got
Colorado
smoked.
got waxed 42-6 and literally were down 42-0 early in the third quarter. It was ugly. Colorado had some other ranked matchups on the year, like the next week
They almost
when
came
lost
back and
to
won that
USC
game.
and Caleb Williams in a 48-41 battle. Colorado then had 3 straight ranked matchups later in the schedule, but lost each one to number 23 UCLA, number 16 Oregon State, and number 21 Arizona. After starting 3-0, Colorado only won one more game. That came against Arizona State in an absolute nail-biter. They finished the year on a 6-2
ASU took a huge jump from this season. Oh my gosh.
In an absolute nail-biter. They finished the year on a 6-game losing streak to end 4-8 and a horrible 1-8 in the Pac-12. There were definitely high hopes, but yeah, they were probably too high. Shedeur Sanders did still play fantastic though. He had 3,230 yards and 27 touchdowns with only 3 interceptions and also rushed for 4 touchdowns. Either way, it was a huge step in the right direction for Colorado, and it laid the foundation for a potentially big 2024. And that's exactly what happened. 2024 was a special year at Colorado. They did lose a tough early season game to Nebraska and Patrick Mahomes lookalike Dylan Raiola, but the Buffaloes were good. No ranked wins, but they went 9-3 and 7-2 in Big 12 play, which was obviously a big improvement, especially in conference play. Now, it probably didn't help that the Pac-12 was absolutely loaded in 2023, but their only other losses came to number 18 Kansas State and what ended up being a great game, and Colorado was actually right there, and then against Kansas later in the year.
They got waxed that game, I ain't gonna lie.
Colorado ended up making a bowl game, the Alamo Bowl, and Shedeur did end up playing, which you really don't see a ton of with solid NFL prospects.
And then they got waxed this game too.
That being said, Colorado got crushed by number 17
36-14
BYU. It was a
is
great
crazy.
season for the Buffaloes, and Shedeur Sanders
That
was even
offensive
with a
line was
chance to
getting
win the
abused,
Heisman,
bro.
but it ultimately went to his wide receiver and star cornerback Travis Hunter. Shedeur had a great season, passing for 4,134 yards, 34 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions, and he rushed for 4 additional touchdowns. It really was a remarkable season and put him well in the conversation to be one of the top quarterback prospects in the 2025 NFL draft. Now, Shedeur Sanders is easily the most polarizing guy in the class. He was once thought
And like,
to
what's
protect
crazy
Shedeur
about
Sanders
this,
to be the
bro?
touchdown.
Imagine if he had a good offensive line, my nigga. His offensive line was horrific, bro. He probably, like, realistically, he probably could have threw for like 4,500 yards, gang.
It really was,
and
a
like probably
remarkable
50
season,
touchdowns
and
if he had a
put
good
him
offensive
in the
line.
conversation to be one of the top quarterback prospects in the 2025 NFL draft. Now, Shedeur Sanders is easily the most polarizing guy in the class. He was once thought to potentially be the top guy in the class, but that's definitely died out a bit, and Cam Ward is definitely the clear top guy now. The question now becomes, who will the second quarterback taken be? And it could definitely be Shedeur. The NFL has him
It's
listed as a
100% gonna be Shedeur.
6.30 prospect.
No
grade,
other
which has him
quarterback
listed
is
as a
gonna
guy
touch
who
the
will
first
eventually
round,
be a
bro.
better than average starter,
Unless
which I'm actually
Jackson
surprised
Dart
it
gets
even has him
drafted to
listed
Pittsburgh
that
or
high.
something like
That's
that.
definitely not a slam dunk, but he is at least a better option than a lot of the middle round guys. His production at Colorado was solid, and he even finished first in production score among all quarterbacks at the combine. But the big issue was with actual talent. He ended up with the 3rd total score overall, and that's because as far as athleticism goes, he really isn't that special. He came in at 14th at the combine
Because
amongst
he's really
quarterbacks,
just
and
a
he measures in at
updated
6'1", 212
pocket passer,
pounds.
for real, for real.
Shedeur is a pretty good
It's not like
passer when it
Tom
comes
Brady
from
or
the
like Peyton
pocket,
Manning, but
he isn't very mobile,
you know,
which really does
he
work
can take
against
off and
what
scramble
most
when he
teams
needs to.
want at this point. His arm
That nigga
isn't
slow as shit,
really
though.
anything special either, and he has a long release too. That all being said, his
Hey,
confidence
them
is
throws I saw him making at his pro day, though. Shedeur got a great
He's
deep
known
ball,
as
bro.
this
Real
arrogant
shit.
dude at times who wants the spotlight. And yeah, that's probably true. I mean, what would you expect from a dude whose dad's nickname is literally primetime? But you can certainly see his confidence even on the tape. Having Travis Hunter definitely helped, but no, he wasn't a Travis Hunter merchant. Trying to figure out where Shedeur Sanders will get drafted feels pretty impossible. As a talent, he may not be a first-round pick, but it doesn't matter. He's a quarterback, which is already super overvalued in the draft. Not only that, but he has pedigree as the son of Deion Sanders, and he'd sell tickets. I do think the Giants could make some sense at number 3, depending on how they view him. They've gone out and signed both Russell Wilson.
I don't think
and
that's gonna
James
happen, bro. Like, there's no reason why they should draft a quarterback in the first round after signing Russ and Jameis Winston, bro. And they already got 3 quarterbacks on the roster, so I don't think that's gonna. I think they're gonna draft Travis Hunter, bro. Like, to be honest. and then draft a quarterback later than draft.
Winston,
I just don't think it
guys
makes sense to draft Shedeur number 3 overall.
The Giants will have to get a young guy at some point, and it may be later in the draft, but a name like Shedeur Sanders in the Big Apple would just be wild. I'd also say that the Browns could take Shedeur at pick number 2.
They taking Abdul Carter,
I honestly
bro.
doubt it. I really don't think Dion would let his kid go to the mess that is the Cleveland Browns, but honestly, who knows? If anything, in a more realistic world, the Browns probably go Travis Hunter at 2 and then Shedeur at 33 to start the second round. Then the Raiders are the last top 10 pick that would make
they just extended Geno.
Number 6. They traded for Geno Smith and signed him to a 2-year deal, but they need a young quarterback, and Shedeur honestly would probably thrive somewhere like Vegas. The draft is a crapshoot sometimes, and it's hard to evaluate, but here's one thing we know for sure.
Last year was so predictable. This year, though,
in the entire
not
draft.
so much.
And whether he goes in the first round or day 2, or if he's good or stinks, people will definitely be watching.
Like, I think Shedeur is gonna be good in the NFL. I don't think he's a day 1 starter though. If that's just my opinion. I don't think he's ready to start day 1. I think you need to sit for a year. You know what I'm saying, behind a veteran quarterback, whether it's gonna be somebody like Russell Wilson, Geno Smith, or Derek Carr. You know what I'm saying. I think he should just sit and then start next season. I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. But hey, wanna know what you guys think down in the comments below? Y'all let me know what other NFL draft videos I want to react to. Without further ado, I'm out.
I'ma make them feel me, make them people when they show me. And if you don't know me, I'ma make sure that you know me. I hate to say it, but I really think I'm broke. But I know I'm chosen, I really know I'm chosen. I know I'm chosen. I was just lost a year ago, but now I'm focused. When good at sports, this microphone can be my trophy. Not taking drugs, I found a better way of coping.